Hello, and welcome to another economic and industry update presented by Greenbrier's marketing team. I'm Mallory Moran, and as always, I'm joined by Jay Carter. Let's start with a look at the economy. Jay, what are you seeing?
Thanks for having me, Mallory. Real gross domestic product grew at an annual rate of 2.8% in Q3 2024, slightly below expectations, but still positive. Consumer spending, on the other hand, rose 3.7% in Q3, marking the fastest growth since Q1 of 2023. Now, the GDP increase indicates a strong yet recalibrated economy with headline inflation moderating to 2.4%, which is very favorable for the Federal Reserve. Now, looking ahead, GDP in 2024 is forecasted to grow 2.7% and to grow roughly 1.9% in 2025.
What about employment?
In October, job creation slowed to its weakest pace since late 2020 due to the southeast storms and labor strike activity. The unemployment rate stayed at 4.1% during the month, with non-farm payrolls increasing by just 12,000 instead of the expected 100,000. Now, the labor force participation rate also remained virtually unchanged at 62.6%.
Now, let's pivot to the rail industry. The latest data indicates that orders for the quarter totaled 5,180 rail cars, which is a drop of 46% from Q2's total of 9,600. Total deliveries were just over 10,600 rail cars, marking a slight decrease of 2% compared to Q2. Consequently, the industry backlog now stands at almost 40,000 rail cars, down from roughly 45,000 last quarter. Jay, help us put these numbers into context.
Yes, so while a strong economy supports rail markets, the growth hasn't fully translated to new railcar demand or carloads growth, as manufacturing is still sluggish. And the current forecasted new railcar market is really driven by a supply led replacement environment. Now, despite manufacturing challenges, when we exclude coal's double digit decline, carloads are positive through November year to date. The latest rail carload forecast for 2024 was revised down to negative 2.5% from negative 1.7% and expected to grow in 2025 at 2.5%, revised down from 2.7%. The big news is in petrochemicals, the primary commodities transported by tank cars. Chemicals in general have been performing well this year and are one of the few commodities that have been growing relatively consistent over the past several years, largely from plastic pellets, but also from tank car movement as well. Now, this demand is expected to continue over the medium term, growing at about 3.2% this year and 4.1% in 2025. Petroleum products have been having an even stronger year than chemical products, but have shown much more volatility in recent years. Now, petroleum carloads are on track to grow at about 6.5% this year, followed by a drop of 1.6% in 2025. We continue to see a large number of tank car opportunities, albeit at smaller order sizes. While tank car orders, deliveries, and backlogs have held incredibly stable over the past 2 years, this situation leads to a stable forecast of deliveries through the forecast period. The supply of tank cars remain relatively tight as actual storage figure is much lower than reported as the fleet awaits requalifications as these cars sit idle in repair shops with high turn times.
What about rail car storage overall?
Yes, as of December 1st, roughly 19.4% of the North American fleet was in storage. We saw a jump in grain cars pulled out of storage in November, and this was due to the harvest related demand. I anticipate the overall fleet utilization to remain stable and tight going forward. Now, although minor fluctuations may occur, utilization is expected to remain stable in 2025. Now, looking into 2025, potential Federal Reserve interest rate cuts could boost rail demand, especially for industrial goods like metals and chemicals. And this suggests a positive outlook for carload volume next year. Now, keep in mind, though, that demand lags the change in interest rates.
Any final thoughts, Jay?
Sure, Mallory. The rail market has moved beyond the boom bust build cycles of the past to a supply driven replacement market as there are no major growth catalysts. This is a supply led market that will provide a much smoother level of predictable demand driven primarily by replacements that are range bound between roughly 38,000 and 44,000 units annually through 2028. The majority of the demand will come from covered hoppers and tank cars. The last thing that I want to touch upon is that tariffs on all imports from Mexico and Canada could increase costs for U.S. steelmakers and manufacturers. But these tariffs lack clarity on its application around existing steel tariffs as well as trade agreements. So I'll keep you updated on that the next time. Thank you, Mallory.
Thanks, Jay, and thank you for watching. We hope you found this update informative. Be sure to tune in for our next quarter's edition.